So g'day all. So in this video, we've actually come to a place where there's so many four-wheel drives just parked up, and it's Logans Creek on the Telegraph Track. Now, it can also be called Ford Creek. Not really sure what I think most people call it, Logans Creek. So what's happened here is one of the main entry into the creek. We had a couple of vehicles bogged pretty bad, one pretty bad, and the other one sort of sunk as well. And then on the other side, there's another entry, but another vehicle was trying to retrieve the original entry side, and they got bogged as well. So they both pretty much blocked both entrances to Logans Creek. Now, we were fortunate enough to see a little passage through down the middle. We just had to clear a few shrubs and trees out of the way, but it wasn't anything too much. I'm surprised no one actually really saw it. So you're going to see, as we get closer, what's going on here with there's people just walking around. Everyone's sort of stuck, and there's people just sort of scouting the area, trying to find a way through, because it's sort of it's early afternoon, and we were trying to head towards Nolans after this to call it a night. So we're all sort of banked back. There was about 20 odd cars in the conga line, and everyone's sort of scratching their heads about what to do next. People were looking for places to camp. As you can see there, that's one of the vehicles that's been stuck. They don't know. They're really knee deep in mud there. Another one went to get to grab him, like as I said, and they also got stuck. There's people stuck everywhere. So we're sort of trying to scout a few areas. We're discussing it with a lot of people there. It was a bit of mayhem because when you get so many people with their finger in the pie, as you can see, we're wandering around like ants on fire here. So when you see so many people trying to figure out a way through, everyone's got their own opinion, but we sort of worked together. We sort of grabbed a few people and worked together. That was the other car, by the way, there. That got stuck, and that was buried badly. They spent probably a couple of hours just trying to get that out, pulling it backwards. But as you can see here, we sort of found a little track. We just cleared a few shrubs out of the way. It's very tight. You had to pick a very special line here, but we were going to try and go this way, and people were starting to come around and follow us through. We were sort of that's my nephew. He was going to, and I'm just behind him. He's the pioneer here, and he gets through, as you're about to see. Just watch him go through there. So all these people here in the water and around us had followed us around, because I sort of grabbed a few people. No one wanted to make a real firm decision, because like I said, you had to move a few trees out of the way. It wasn't anything bad. I'm surprised no one actually even looked at this. But as you can see, he's making it look quite easy, and he gives it a gutful, and over she goes. Give the car a bit of a wash. Thanks, Ev. And that's myself just behind. So I get through pretty unscathed as well in my GU. Then my bros are following me. I think that's my bro following me. He's coming through as well, just straight through me. He's getting out for some reason, but I think people are taking a big interest in this because they're going, hey, we've just found an easier way to get through. So he gets through as well. He's 105. Nice and graceful. Nothing to see here. And then next up was I think my son in his GU with some great spotting. We managed to get him bogged big time on a stump that was hanging out of the ground. This got a bit hairy. We were actually there a lot longer than what we've actually posted on the video, and you'll see what's going on here. We had a few attempts in winching him, and Max Track's trying to pick him up because he's right on a stump. We didn't want to put a hole in his stump. So I've come back to hook up the winch. So what's happened here is he was so badly buried that I was trying to winch him out, and he's actually buried so bad that he was pulling me towards him. So then I had my nephew, you'll see that coming up soon, hooking up to me. As you can see there, he's hooking up to me just so he stops me dragging me in. And we still couldn't get him out. As you can see, we'll just let it go for a sec. Going on here, I think because we're going to try and double line pull here. So my brother's come in to give him a bit of a why he's there. I can't remember why he's there.
It's just on standby mode.
Oh right, okay.
When someone bought.
Oh, from the other end. Okay, so sorry, my brother was actually going because people were still getting stuck coming down the other side. They were going around those two vehicles. But as you can see, we're all trying to work together and figure out how we get him out without damaging the car. This guy went around the car that was bogged and he's gotten out. But the next one that tries to do the same thing isn't so successful. As you can see in the video, he's pretty much buried up to his pumpkin, but what was behind was actually much worse. So he had a big stump sort of right up in front of his transfer and gearbox cross member. So it was actually sitting up above it. So we had to virtually get the car up over it. But we did eventually do that. As you, I think we put some max tracks on it and just sort of try to pull it up. And I think just here you'll see it move. Yeah, so we were probably there for an hour and a half. Just trying to get him out without damaging the car, and we succeeded that, even though he sort of held up. But it was all going on as well, so everyone's trying to get through because it's getting a bit late. People were trying to get to Nolans. I'm just putting his winch back in there, so there's a happy chappy there. But as you can see on the other side, there's a car coming through, and he gets stuck. And he's just sitting there. So the other grip on the other side had to hit the panic stations because he's filling up with water. He was there for quite some time by the time they got someone through to pull him out. So quite a bit of a dangerous situation because everyone's trying to winch people out from left, front, and centre. So last one of our group, that's my other nephew Nick. He's coming down as well, and he's got a slightly bigger lift than we have. So he gets through. Obviously, he didn't slow down either. He just powered it through there just to make sure he gets over so he can get stuck. There was a couple other cars which may not have caught on here, but there was a Y62 as well that got jammed up there. He lost four-wheel drive coming down that hill, and we pulled him out as well. We winched him out. I think that's the one there, yeah. And then just putting everything back on the car, and we were going to shortly head off to Nolans, and that's pretty adventurous in itself. When we get to it, I'll explain what happened there. That's the Y62 we just pulled out. So we're all lined up in a conga line ready to go. That was probably took us 2.5, 3 hours just to get through Logans. Like I said, Logans or Ford Creek, there's a bit of a misconception of what it's called. I think Logans is probably the most common name. So here we are heading to our next destination, which is Nolans, and we know we're going to expect a bit of a crowd here because they like to see a few people fail.
It's gonna be really hot.
Yeah, probably then.
Look here.
Yes, probably.
Okay, so my brother's the first one through. He's got a fair big lift on his and he's on 35, so he made it look quite easy. But thanks to him, he's dug a bit of it out for us. Good on you, Phil. Keep up the good work. Not his fault. And then my nephew Evan, he's next in line. He's also on 35s. He's got quite a big lip, but he's still pretty high, so he gets through. He needed a bit more of a push, but he got through okay. And this is where I'm going to say the embarrassment starts, where we didn't set up properly. This is my son, and he just gone. So the back's come up on his. He's on 33s, 2.5 inch lift, backed up, and problem was we weren't set up correctly here. So meanwhile he's sitting there drinking a fair bit of water. His engine just shut off. So we're getting set up to get him pulled out, but there was nothing set up properly. This is a real rookie mistake, even though we're not rookies. We've been doing this for 30 years. So that was pretty bad on our part as the elders trying to tell the boys what to do. But, you know, lessons learned out of this. You know, there's a lot of people around. Guys were going underwater trying to hook him up on his point, on his tape point in the front of his car, and he eventually comes out, opens the door before he gets out, and all the stuff comes flying out of the car. Hallelujah. Everyone's cheering. They got a good laugh out of it. We did a bit of damage to that. Nothing that couldn't fix.
No worries.
Then my nephew, next in line, he goes through slow as well. Look, you can see how much water's in there.
Go, Nick.
Same thing. He got a bit of bad advice. He was told to keep revving the engine. He had this car serviced just before Cape York. They didn't seal his airbox properly, and filled up with water. And unfortunately, unbeknownst to us at the time, he bent a rod here. We didn't know it just yet because we did take it back to camp, and you'll see that a bit later. And you know, just took all the spark plugs out, just pumped all the water out, but one of the cylinders wasn't clearing. Long story short, we ended up getting it towed to Bamaga, and yeah, they got it all fired up, and it just blew on them. Pretty much put us whole through the side due to water damage. So that was a bit of a shame.
Go!
You know, no one wants to lose a car or an engine. You know, it took forever to get it back to their residence. That's I think that's myself, and I didn't give it a gutful there.
Come on!
Probably my fault. Like, we also made a mistake with our tyre pressures. Probably a bit high. This is what it is when you don't set up properly. We were sort of a bit high on tyre pressures. Didn't hit it as hard, you know. For various reasons, I was a bit better set up. I had the strap on the front of my car, but still a bit of buffoonery here. But all of us, like, you know, my boy's trying to tie it to the back of my nephew's car. We didn't have a bloody, you know, D-shackle available. Just little silly things. So my car filled up to probably over the pedals. So my transmission ECU got soaked. Unfortunately, my son's car got copped it a bit worse. The water went up to pretty over the top of his door switches. Lost, you know, everything got wet. ECU got wet. Both ECUs got wet. Everything got wet in his car. So we spent a little bit of time, as you'll see in the video, as we're going on. You know, I spent a day and a half just pulling all the ECUs out. We just sort of setting the cars up here in this video. I won't get too heated myself. So I think it's my brother's towing my car into place. Yeah, my car didn't get any water in the engine, but it got a lot of water in the transmission, but we didn't know that. I guess I spent most of the night, I didn't even look at my car. I just checked the airbox, it was dry, so she started pretty much straight away. I didn't worry about it after that. But I'll tell you a bit more about what happened there a bit later. So we just put mine out of the way and had the two cars that seemed to have copped it the most that just stalled. Mine didn't stall in the water. My engine, I actually was driving and I nearly got through, but I decided just to shut it down when I couldn't move anymore, so I wouldn't risk getting any water in. But luckily the patrol air boxes seemed to seal a bit better. I mean, none of us got any water in it. Yeah, so that was a good thing. We're just going to push the car a bit further forward here. So we were here at Nolans. Luckily we were able to get this large area where we could work on the cars, and yeah, side by side, had plenty of light because it was a sort of late afternoon here. It was getting a bit dark.
Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Push!
As you can see, I'm just getting him to push the car forward. Obviously you couldn't tell it because there's trees in front of me there, so I'm just getting the whole gang to pull it forward. I'm just sort of whipping him into shape. I'm telling him to push.
Come on, keep it moving! Come on, come on!
So just getting that organised.
3, 2, 1, go!
As I said, didn't get any water in the engine. The transmission, transfer case and front differential got a bit of water. They got a cop that got full. I'll talk about that more just a bit later. Whilst we just wait for the other vehicles. So the other vehicles are up there now. Obviously we didn't get... So that's my son's car. His fridge was underwater. The fridge stopped working. We had like $350 worth of meat in there. You know, the whole engine was soaked. I got him here just to pull his spark plugs out just to make sure there was no water, but his airbox was totally dry. Another rookie mistake that we made out, the patrol breathers are quite high standard. So we never bothered putting diff breathers or, you know, transmission breathers, whatever, in the car. And to be honest with you, I don't think it would have made that much difference because it would have only raised them by about 10 centimetres at most, 10 to 15 centimetres. And just so you don't understand, diff breathers still allow water to get into all your cases if they hit water. If water hits them, water will get sucked in. There's a bit of a misconception on how diff breathers work. So we sort of never figured, obviously, as you would never figured to actually stop in a river. We didn't worry about driving through them because there's as I said, they're so high. They're high up in the guard, unlike the cruisers. So we're just having a camp at night. With, you know, the wife's cooking some food while we're working on the cars. We were pretty much working on the cars all night, trying to just get them in a state, find out what the damage was. Because as I said, the other GU and the 105 just stalled in the water. But as I said, the 105 did bend a rod. We didn't know this at this point. And the GU is a TB45. There was a dry airbox. As I said, my son pulled the spark plugs out. They were dry, but all the ECUs were wet. They even started corroding. So the next day, he's lost his alternator here as well. That was the second time, as you can see right here. We're working on his alternator here. Actually, we'll just panned away for a sec. And to the abomination of campsites, but you know, it served us well because it was nice and big. We were very fortunate. So, what are we doing here?
I'm just holding them around.
Okay, so yeah, just how we were set up at night. It's pretty much all hands on deck. Everyone's either working on cars or getting things prepared here. It's my nephew's son who's in the 105. He's he's still trying to figure out where he's got water. It's my vehicle. Just as I said, I didn't look at it last night. Just working on the other two cars. So that's me and my son working on. So we got his alternator out. Last night we did get his fridge going. We pulled all the electronics out and got his fridge over here. We're just pulling his alternator apart again. This second time on the trip, it's just stopped charging. We do have spares. We always carry spare starters, alternators. We pretty much had everything we needed. So if we can always fix something before using the new one, we did. And here, what happened here was the brushes just got stuck in. Obviously the water did that, who knows, but all we did was just pull the brushes back out on the commutator and we got that going again. He actually ended up getting home with that same alternator, didn't use the new one. So we did well there. But as I said, for his car, we carry spark plugs for everything, pretty much everything that you need, like hoses, pretty much everything. Everything that the consumables that can break on a trip like this. We'd be surprised how many people we bumped into up there with mainly new cars and they never had any spares. Bit of a lesson for people who do it for the first time. Cape York's not for the faint-hearted. You know, if you're going to be crossing water, rivers, there's mud. You got to come prepared with especially alternator, starter motor stuff. The simple things that can sort of let you down for the whole trip. Like when as we're sort of watching this, we had somebody up at Seisha who had which you'll probably watch later in the later episodes. Had a brand new Raptor, Ford Raptor, and he's gone through one of the waters and his alternator, obviously they're very low on the car, I didn't even know where they are, I haven't worked on one, but he went to get a new alternator and no one in Australia except for Ford had one, and it had to be flown up by Melbourne, and it took a week, and we were leaving on the day it was flown up, and poor guy, it arrived and it was damaged.
that.
So we don't really know what happened after that. So just a bit of a warning when you're doing trips like this. At least take an alternator starter mat and some of the consume like fan belts and hoses. You know, a few lubricants and your grease and stuff like that. This is, you know, most people we talked to up there had something happen to their cars. Not many said to us that had absolutely nothing wrong, and those that did were, I know they were lying. So we were quite prepared. As you can see, we're just putting it back together. My missus took some video of us just rebuilding the alternator for the second time. You know, water's not going to harm it. It's just sometimes the brushes can be impacted a little bit, and they just push back into the brush pack. Luckily, being an auto electrical in my past, I sort of I've got a half an idea what I'm doing. And my boy's a apprentice mechanic, so he's also got a bit of an idea. That helps. So yeah, as I said, his fridge, he's got the, what's he got, an 85 litre Easy Tray, no, what's it called? Austral fridge. Got it from Anaconda. Good little fridge. But the water got so high it went over the top of the electronics and the fridge just shut down.
What'd
but
you do?
luckily, so we pulled all the electronics out and we actually just cleaned all the circuits, blew all the crap out of it, took all the... I mean, it's amazing how quickly corrosion starts. But we got it going again, which was good last night, so we didn't lose any of our food. Now, so we've left Nolans here. This is just bizarre. That's us having a look at our car. So I smelt something burning really bad. I got a turbo on this thing, so I didn't know what it was, but it was quite just weird. This really bad smell came in the car. And I also had this is a Tiptronic 5-speed, so I had nothing on the dash for the gearbox, and I was a bit worried about that. So whilst we were stopped to see what was burning, I sort of I pulled a dipstick out for the gearbox, which I should have done at Nolans. Another rookie mistake. Lucky it was only a couple of k's up the road here. Sure enough, the gearbox was milky white. And then I got my boy to check his GU. Sure enough, he had the same issue. His was milky white. Now, my nephew's car, the 105, by now it actually got towed to Bamaga because we couldn't get it going properly. There was other issues with the spark plug being another spark plug being broken in there. Mind you, at this point we did not know that it had a bent rod, but we soon find out that it was. So you can see this was a single track going back out to the PDR, and only one. We were trying to find places to sort of put the cars on the side, not to block the track. So what happened here was we decided to drain our oils, and just pull our coolers off, just drain as much of the fluid out as we could, and then they were going. The boys went back to Bamaga, and grabbed some oil for us. Came back, we refilled our cars up, and to be honest with you, we made it back to Sydney, without any concern. It was just amazing, no overheating. So thanks for listening, and look for the next episode coming up straight after this. Cheerio.